Someone who led this letter on the Home Secretary is Hampshire Police and Crime Commissioner, regular here on GBNews, is Donna Jones. Donna, great to see you. Thank you very, very much. Look, just when it comes to this now, what's the most important issue? Is it about getting police officers, people filling in a form to say, I want to be a police officer, to get in the fastest possible time you can to getting them out on the street stopping crimes? Is that the main issue?
Yeah, I mean, certainly. I've been with the Home Secretary, Patrick, as you've just said today, in Westminster at the conference centre, where she delivered an absolute blinding speech, if I can say so myself. Now, she happens to be a Hampshire MP. Her constituency is Fareham, so I've known Suella and worked with her for a number of years. And when she became Home Secretary the first time, I sat down with her and I went through a number of key issues facing British policing at the moment, one of which is the crisis in senior police leadership. And secondly is the problem of getting the right quality of police officers through the door, and the police degree, the police entry degree, making that a mandatory requirement from March of next year that every single new recruit must do that degree, is putting off the kind of quality of police officers that we need. Now, in my patch in Hampshire, we're home to the Royal Navy, we're home to the British Army. There are lots and lots of capable men and women who've served Queen and now King, who are retiring from their profession at the end of their commission in either the Army or the Navy, and of course the Air Force as well, would love to go into policing, but they don't want to do a degree perhaps in their early or mid-40s. So for me, she spoke about common sense policing. She spoke getting back to basics. She knows that we need a mixture coming into policing. Yes, we need academics to be helping to solutionise some of those wicked problems that are facing policing in Britain today, but we also need people who are perhaps not academic but have got a brilliant skill set to diffuse situations, to go into some quite aggressive environments on occasions, and actually, having had a career in a non-academic profession, very often very well serves the police.
Look, I think you've hit the nail on the head. We're all about trying to find practical solutions to problems here and maybe thinking outside the box. In this case, I don't think you've got to look too far outside the box to recognise that we have a whole host of people who are born for the role of being police officers, who actually would relish it, frankly, and that is veterans. And you are saying that maybe we should be looking in that way, and maybe even, dare I say, some kind of fast-track veteran scheme. I don't know, what do you think?
Absolutely, and I've already spoken to one of the brigadiers in Hampshire about this. The Army, the Navy, they are keen, they are prepped, they want to be working with British policing. And like I say, there's no better place than Hampshire because of our very strong military connections. You've obviously got places in the Midlands, very strong connections to the RAF as well. And, you know, this is the news that I've been waiting for. I've been lobbying for this since I became a police commissioner 18 months ago. And then, as you know, 2 weekends ago, 16 police commissioners, I was one of them, wrote a letter to Suella Braverman as our Home Secretary to urge her to expedite this decision, and I'm pleased she's turned up today. But she spoke about a number of other brilliant things. She spoke about reviewing the non-hate crime charges and the time that police spend on that. She talked about reducing serious violence by 20%. She spoke about ensuring, we've talked about burglaries before, that all burglaries are responded to. She spoke about the importance of local policing, neighbourhood policing. It's all very well and good the cops running around catching murderers, rapists, burglars, etc. But we need to make sure that we're doing the basics, giving public what they need for the taxes that they're paying. For me, it was a perfect speech she delivered today. I thought she was brilliant.
Yeah, I've got a massive concern, really. I've got a massive concern for Suella, which is that I think that the left can't stand her. And they absolutely cannot stand her because they can't get their heads around the fact that she actually believes what she's saying, and she does want to do things like cut down on illegal immigration. She does want to do things like cut down on what's going on in the child. She does want to do things like get wokeism essentially out of police and get common sense back into policing, and they can't handle it. And I'm worried now that they've got Gavin Williamson. All right, look, no one's going to miss Professor Snape too much, but they're going to come back for Suella now. Do you think that actually what she's seeing is a pushback because a lot of people on the left just can't handle it?
Well, this is the difference, isn't it, between some sections of society and the public. And I think the great British public likes Suella Braverman. I think they like the fact that she's saying she's going to get tough on, the people traffickers, the migrant boats. I think they like the fact that she's saying less woke policing, more time spent on practical neighbourhood crimes. She talked about tackling knife crime. She talked about the scourge on drugs. She talked about addressing and speeding up rape investigations and prosecutions. But the words she repeated throughout that speech were back to basics, common common sense policing, and she also talked about simplifying the way that you record crimes and you record the outcomes of crime. She wants to get under the skin of some of those red tape issues as well. So, you know, she was practical, she was to the point, she was well briefed, as you would expect, and she delivered today to nearly every chief constable in the country and every police and crime commissioner and the National Crime Agency and the College of Policing and Home Office officials. She delivered a speech today that rang to the hearts of many of us.
Well, which is exactly what you want, and not people there who and ah about whether or not we should be doing stop and search and whether or not it's got connotations for this, that and the other. Someone who wants to get right in amongst it and deal with various problems that are in her brief. Thank you very much, Donna Jones. Always an absolute pleasure. Donna Jones there, of course, the Hampshire Police and Crime Commissioner.